Hey there, welcome back to Equefit. Today we're going to do a video about mounting, the proper ways to mount your horse. And what I want to talk to you about is a proper controlled mount. And in a proper controlled mount, what you want to be able to do is control your body as you're entering your saddle and putting your weight over top of the saddle and onto the horse's back. Okay? Two things. You always want to save your horse's back. You also want to save your horse's mouth, and you want to have control over them while you're doing it. So it starts with some basics. First of all, you need to have your horse trained that he will stand still at the mounting block and accept you to mount or dismount, as the case may be. So what I'm going to show, I'm going to walk him up to the mounting block. Now, when I get him to this point, what I tend to do is I turn and I face him. And then I'm going to ask him to come forward with one rein and then stop. Okay? Now, this is easier because I'm going to be on the mounting block as opposed to mounting from the ground. Now, that's a whole nother video. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But I'm going to turn, I'm going to face him. I'm going to ask him to come towards me and then stop at the point where he's lined up with the mounting block. Okay? Okay, and now he's in position where I need to have him so I can step up easily. Now what I'm going to do as I control my reins, I control his head. Now I'm on a pretty tall mounting block. I got a pretty tall horse. So the first thing that I want to be able to do though is make sure my reins are in position. So I'm going to take both reins, my index finger, in between those reins, make sure they're even on both sides. I let them flop to the side, and then I also grab a little bit of mane that's right here. Okay? So I want to make sure that my reins aren't flopping around this way. I'm not just taking one of them because I want to be able to control his head. If he were to decide to move away from the mounting block, that's not going to give me any control, okay? So I want to make sure my reins are even. I run that index finger through there, grab a little bit of mane. Now, the second thing I want to be able to do is to balance out my saddle. I don't want to put a lot of weight on my horse's back unnecessarily. So I don't want to press onto the pommel as I'm trying to get up, and I don't want to press onto the cantle. What I do want to do is take my hand and put it right in the center of my saddle, and I can press down right there as I balance myself up, okay? Third thing I want to show is foot position. Now, what a lot of people tend to do is they stick their foot in their saddle, in their stirrup irons this way. Now, if I stick my foot in this way, there's two things that's going to happen. Number one, I'm probably going to jab my horse right there in the rib cage or right behind his elbow, okay? But it also does not give me, look at big guy, it also does not give me proper positioning. I want to be able to have my shoulders over his midline as I swing my leg around over that saddle. Because that way, if he does happen to move away from the mounting block, I have my weight primarily over his center of gravity, so I can still swing my leg around and sit up and then still control him to a stop if I need to, okay? So I'm going to show the foot position here. I take my stirrup and I want to take my foot and make sure that my toe is pointing as much towards his head as I can, okay? I can lean the inside of my knee into that, and I kind of put my hip against the side of the saddle. Now I'm going to take a little pop up. Now I've got my shoulders over that midline. So even if he does walk away from the mounting block, I'm still in position and I'm still balanced. I can take my leg over, and if you notice, I still have not sat down. I'm controlling my weight over the saddle, okay? Now I can sit easily after I found my stirrup iron on the other side. And that is basically what a controlled mount is. Now, you'll see a lot of people will put their foot in, swing their leg over, and flop right down on their horse's back. That's not going to save your horse's back. We want to be able to have a comfortable place to ride, and we want our horses to be comfortable when they're carrying us. So it's going to start with having that controlled mount. Okay? Now, we also have the ability to mount from the ground, because if you happen to be out on the trail, you're not going to have a nice handy mounting block or even a fence line that you can climb up and get on your horse. So you're going to be able to mount from the ground pretty much the same way. We'll show you the difference on that, because you're going to take your foot into that stirrup iron. You're going to have to take a couple little pops up from the ground and then be able to do the same thing, hand position with the reins, and then swing your leg over, still controlling the mount as you come over your horse's back, and then sit gently down in the center of your saddle. And once you're in your saddle, then you can make any adjustments that you might need to your stirrup leathers or the length of your reins before you get ready to ride. So this is the proper mount in this video. Hope it is beneficial to you. See you next time.